I noticed something about you before you even pressed play. Not your face. Not your name. Not the city you are sitting in right now. I noticed the weight. There is a weight that has been resting on your shoulders for longer than most people around you realize. Not the kind of weight that bends your back. The invisible kind. The kind that sits behind your eyes when you smile in a room full of people and yet feel completely alone. Stay with me. I need you to know that what I am about to say was not written for millions. It was written for one. And that one is you. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble onto this video because your phone got bored. Something older than your phone, older than the internet, older than anything you can name brought you here. And I do not say that lightly. I say it because I noticed something about you that most people have been too busy to see. You have been praying for something for a long time now. Not casually. Not the kind of prayer you whisper before a meal. The kind of prayer you cry in the shower so no one can hear you. The kind of prayer you pray at 2 in the morning when the house is quiet and the doubt is loudest. The kind of prayer that starts with words and ends with just silence because you ran out of language and all you had left was longing. Don't scroll. Please don't scroll. Because what I am going to tell you next is the thing you have been waiting to hear. Tomorrow is not just another day. Tomorrow carries a door. And behind that door is not a miracle that falls from the sky. It is a person. A specific person. Someone you once asked for. Someone you once described to God in the dark when no one was listening. And God was listening. God was always listening. But I am getting ahead of myself. Let me go back to what I noticed. When you arrived here today, you carried something with you that most people have already put down. You carried faith. Not the loud kind of faith that wears itself on its sleeve. The quiet kind. The stubborn kind. The kind that survives disappointment after disappointment and somehow refuses to die. That is rare. That is not common. Most people, after enough closed doors, stop believing that any door will ever open. But not you. You kept believing. Even when you told yourself you had given up, some part of you never actually did. That part of you is why you are here right now. That part of you called this moment into existence. And that, beloved, is exactly what I want to talk about today. Because what is coming for you tomorrow is not random. It is the answer to that faith. It is the fruit of that stubborn, beautiful, broken, still breathing hope inside of you. But before we get there, I need you to understand something important. I need you to understand what you have survived. Because you have survived things that most people do not know about. You have survived seasons of silence when you prayed and heard nothing back. You have survived the particular loneliness of being surrounded by people who love you but cannot quite see you. You have survived moments where you looked at your own life and felt like a stranger inside of it. You have survived waiting. And I do not mean casual waiting. I mean the kind of waiting that costs you something every single day. The kind of waiting that makes you question whether you misheard God. The kind of waiting that makes you wonder if you did something wrong, if you are being punished, if the thing you are waiting for was ever meant for you at all. Stay with me, because I need you to hear this clearly. You did not misunderstand. You were not wrong. You were not punished. You were being prepared. And there is a difference between delay and denial that most people in pain cannot see, because pain does not have good eyesight. Pain sees the closed door and assumes it will be closed forever. But faith, the kind of faith you have been quietly carrying, faith sees the closed door and says, not yet, but soon. You have been saying not yet, but soon, even when you had no evidence to support it. That is not foolishness. That is one of the most spiritually courageous things a human being can do. And it has not gone unnoticed. Now I want to tell you something about the person. The one who is coming. The one whose arrival tomorrow, or in the days just after tomorrow, will begin to feel like something shifting inside of you. This person was not manufactured for you overnight. They have been on their own journey. A journey that has included pain, loss, closed doors, and their own seasons of prayer. They have been asking for something too. And what they have been asking for, in their own private language, in their own dark rooms, in their own silent moments, is someone like you. Not a perfect version of you. Not a version of you that has everything figured out. Not a version of you without scars. The real you. The one who has carried weight and kept walking. The one who has cried and still chose to believe. The one who is sitting here right now, listening, because something in you knew you needed to hear this today. That is the person they have been praying for. You. Exactly as you are. Not who you will be in 5 years. Not who you were before the hard seasons. Who you are right now, in this specific moment, with everything you have been through and everything you are still carrying. Don't scroll. Stay here with me a little longer. Because I want to talk about what it will feel like. You will not announce it with fireworks. The arrival of this person, or the reopening of this connection, will feel quiet at first. It might feel like a conversation that goes a little longer than expected. It might feel like a name that keeps appearing in places you did not expect. It might feel like a moment of eye contact that lasts a second too long and leaves you feeling something you forgot you were capable of feeling. It will feel small. But pay attention to the small things. Because this is how God usually works. Not in thunder. Not in spectacle. In a gentle, almost imperceptible shift. Like the way dawn does not explode into the sky, but creeps in so quietly that by the time you notice it, the dark is already gone. That is what is coming for you. A dawn that creeps in. And before you know it, you will look around and realize the season that felt endless has ended. Not dramatically. Just truthfully. And now I want to ask you something. If you have been watching this and something in your chest is responding, something is warming up or opening up or just quietly saying, yes, this is for me, then I want you to take a breath. A real one. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands open. Because what is coming does not require you to be tense. What is coming requires you to be open. And there is a difference. Tension is the posture of someone who is afraid it will not come. Openness is the posture of someone who has decided to trust that it will. I am asking you to shift from tension to openness. Not because you should pretend the fear is not there. Not because you should act like the waiting was easy. But because the thing you have been waiting for is close enough now that you can afford to uncurl your hands. If this message is touching something real in you, I want you to do something right now. Scroll down and leave a comment. Not just any comment. Type the words, "My door is opening." Because there is something powerful about declaring out loud, even in a comment section, what you are choosing to believe. You are not claiming it has already happened. You are simply saying, I am ready. My hands are open. My heart is open. My door is open. And if this channel, God Only, has been a place where you have found encouragement, consider subscribing. Not because a subscription changes the spiritual outcome of your life, but because surrounding yourself with voices that speak life over you, consistently and gently, is a form of self-care that your soul needs. You deserve to hear good things about your future. Regularly. Not just on the hard days. And if this video has meant something to you, press like. Not for the algorithm. For yourself. As a small act of agreement with what you have just heard. Now let me go deeper. Because I do not want to only talk about what is coming. I want to talk about what this season has done to you. And I do not mean done to you in a damaging way. I mean done to you in the way that fire does something to clay. Clay that has never been fired is soft. It holds its shape only when nothing is pressing against it. The moment something comes against it, it collapses. But clay that has been through the fire, clay that has survived the heat, that clay becomes something entirely different. It becomes ceramic. It becomes the kind of material that can hold things. That can be trusted. That does not crumble when something is poured into it. You have been in the fire. And I am not romanticizing your pain. I am not saying the fire felt good, or that you should be grateful for every hard thing that has happened to you. What I am saying is this. The fire did not destroy you. And that means something profound. The fire revealed what you are made of. And what you are made of is the kind of substance that can now hold something extraordinary. The love that is coming. The connection that is coming. The person that is coming. They are going to need someone who can hold things. Someone who has been tested and found faithful. Someone who understands that good things require patience and care, and showing up even when it is hard. That someone is you. The fire made you into that person. And the fire is almost done. Don't scroll. Stay right here. Because I want to tell you about the moment. Not tomorrow specifically, because I am not a prophet of exact dates. I am a narrator of patterns. And the pattern of your life right now is pointing toward an imminent shift. The moment will come, and when it comes, it will not feel like God reaching down from the sky and dropping someone into your lap. It will feel like a door. A literal or figurative door. A conversation you almost did not have. A place you almost did not go. A message you almost did not send. A moment you almost let pass. Pay attention. Be present in the small moments of the next few days. Because the divine tends to hide itself in the ordinary. The burning bush was still a bush. The still small voice was still small. The stone that became a cornerstone was still a stone that the builders rejected. What is coming for you might look ordinary at first. Do not dismiss it because it looks ordinary. Look closer. Feel more carefully. Trust your gut when it says this is different. Because this time it will be different. Not because you are more deserving than before. But because the season has changed. Because the preparation is complete. Because the soil of your life, which has been turned and broken and watered and waited upon, is now ready to receive the seed. And seeds do not stay seeds. They become things that give shade. Things that give fruit. Things that outlast the planting. Now I want to speak to the part of you that is afraid. Not the brave part. Not the hopeful part. The afraid part. The part that has been hurt before. The part that let someone in and ended up more broken than before. The part that prays for connection, but also quietly prays that nothing too good comes, because good things leave, and the leaving hurts more than the never having. I see you. That part of you is not a flaw. That part of you is a survivor. It learns to protect you. It learned that hope has a cost, and it decided to limit the spending. I understand. But I want to gently say this. The protection that kept you safe in the broken season is not what will allow you to receive in the abundant season. What kept you safe then might keep you closed now. And a closed hand cannot receive a gift. So I am asking you to do something difficult. I am asking you to let the afraid part know that it did a good job. It kept you here. It got you to this moment. And now it can rest. Because what is coming is not the thing it was protecting you from. What is coming is the thing it was protecting you for. There is a difference. And I know that difference is hard to feel from the inside of fear. But try. Let the afraid part take a breath. Let it sit down. Let it know that you have heard it, you honor it, and you are choosing one breath at a time to open anyway. Take a breath right now. Just one. And let that breath be an act of courage. Because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is breathing anyway. Courage is opening anyway. Courage is saying, I do not know what is coming, but I choose to believe it is good, and I choose to make room for it. That is what you are doing right now. And that matters. That changes things. In the spiritual architecture of your life, what you are doing right now, the choosing, the opening, the deciding to believe, these are acts of construction. You are building something. Not with your hands, with your heart. And what you build in the heart eventually becomes visible in the world. The love you are choosing to believe in is being built right now. In the spirit. In the realm where things are assembled before they are delivered. And the delivery is close. Stay with me, because I want to circle back to something I said at the beginning and expand it. I said I noticed something about you before you pressed play. And I told you it was the weight. But there was something else I noticed. Something that the weight almost hid. I noticed the light. You carry a very specific kind of light. It is the light that only comes from people who have been in the dark and chose to keep their flame burning. It is not a loud light. It does not announce itself. But it is steady. And steady light is more valuable than brilliant light that flares and fades. Because steady light is the kind you can navigate by. It is the kind that shows you the way home when you are lost. And the person who is coming needs that kind of light. They have been lost, not in a way they would admit to most people, but in the quiet parts of their life, they have been navigating without a clear sense of direction. And when they find you, when they come into the radius of your steady light, something in them will settle. Something in them will say, here. This is where I was headed. I did not know I was looking for this, but this is it. And that moment, the moment someone looks at you and feels the anchor drop inside of them, that is not a small thing. That is one of the most sacred things that happens between human beings. That is what is coming. And I want you to be ready. Not ready in the sense of having everything perfect. Not ready in the sense of having healed every wound and resolved every question and arrived at total certainty about who you are. Ready in the sense of being present. Of not being so far inside your own head that you miss the door when it opens. Of being soft enough to feel the shift when it comes. Of being awake enough to notice the small, quiet, ordinary moment that is actually extraordinary. If you feel this in your spirit right now, I want to invite you again to leave a comment below. Type the words, I am ready and I am open. That is not a claim of perfection. That is a declaration of posture. And declarations of posture matter. They are the language of the soul speaking to the universe about where you are standing and what you are prepared to receive. Stand here. In openness. In readiness. In the quiet, stubborn, fire-tested faith that has brought you to this moment. And if you have not yet subscribed to God Only, consider doing so now. Because this channel exists to speak things over you that most of the world is not saying. Things like your waiting has not been wasted. Things like the delay was not a denial. Things like the person you prayed for is real and they are on their way. These are the things your soul needs to hear. Not once, regularly. Subscribe so you do not miss the next word that was written for you. Now let me keep going. Because there is more. I want to talk about what changes in you after this arrival. I want to give you a glimpse of the season that is just on the other side of the door. Not because I want to make you promises I cannot keep, but because I want you to understand why this door matters beyond the obvious. The arrival of this person is not just about love. It is not just about companionship. It is not just about having someone to sit across from at dinner. Those things are real and they matter, and they are part of what is coming. But the deeper thing, the thing that will take your breath away slowly over time rather than all at once, is this. This person will show you something about yourself that you have not been able to see clearly. You have been looking at yourself for years through the lens of your pain. Through the lens of what you have lost. Through the lens of what has not yet arrived. And pain is not a neutral lens. Pain distorts. It makes you smaller in your own eyes. It makes you doubt that you are the kind of person someone would choose. It makes you question whether you are lovable, not just loved, but genuinely worth choosing over and over in the ordinary moments of life. The arrival of this person will begin to reframe that lens. Not through grand declarations, through small moments, through the way they laugh at something you say, through the way they ask about the things other people never asked about, through the way they make space for the parts of you that you learned to keep small, through the way they look at you, not the version of you performing for the world, but the real you, the tired, hopeful, imperfect, still dreaming you, and choose to stay. That choosing is going to change you. It is going to reach back into the closed rooms of your self-understanding and open the curtains. And what you will find in those rooms, when the light comes in, is that you were never as small as you thought. You were always more than the pain allowed you to see. You were always the person worth staying for. You just needed someone with clear enough eyes to show you what they were seeing. And that person is coming. With clear eyes. And a willingness to stay. Don't scroll. Not yet. Because I want to tell you what to do with this message after you finish watching. I want you to write something down. Not on your phone. On paper if you can. Write down the name of what you have been praying for. Not the person's name, because you may not know it yet. Write down the essence. Write down someone who sees me. Or someone who stays. Or someone who makes me feel like I am enough. Whatever it is you have been asking for in the privacy of your own heart, write it down. And then underneath it write, it is on its way. Not as a lie. Not as a wish. As a decision. A decision to believe, one more time, that the thing you have been praying for is not lost. It is not cancelled. It is not given to someone more deserving. It is moving toward you. Slowly, quietly, in the way all sacred things move. But it is moving. Write that down. Put it somewhere you will see it tomorrow morning. Because tomorrow, when the door begins to open, I want you to recognize it. I want you to remember this moment. This moment when you decided to believe one more time. And I want you to know, when the door opens, that the decision you made today was part of what made it possible. Not because your belief creates reality out of nothing, but because your posture, your openness, your willingness to receive, these are the conditions in which sacred things can enter. A locked door keeps everything out. Even the things meant to come in. Choose to unlock yours today. If you have been watching this and it has felt like a personal message, that is because it is. Type in the comments, "This was for me." Because acknowledging that a message landed is a form of gratitude. And gratitude is one of the most powerful spiritual postures there is. Gratitude says, I am aware that something good was just given to me. And awareness of good things, practiced consistently, opens the eye of the heart to see more good things coming. Gratitude is not a trick. It is a training of perception. And right now, in this season where you are learning to see the door before it fully opens, training your perception toward goodness is one of the most important things you can do. So type, "This was for me." And mean it. And let the meaning of it settle into your chest. Now stay with me because we are not done. I want to go back to the beginning one more time. To the thing I noticed about you. The weight, the light, the faith that refuses to die. And I want to add one more thing. I noticed your patience. Not the easy kind of patience that waits without pain. The hard kind. The kind that waits while the world around you seems to be moving at a different speed. The kind that watches others receive what you have been praying for and finds a way to celebrate them even when it stings. The kind that shows up, day after day, in a life that has not yet become what you imagined and chooses to tend to it anyway. That patience is extraordinary. It does not always feel extraordinary from the inside. From the inside, it often just feels like not having what you want yet. But from the outside, from where I am seeing you right now, it looks like one of the most refined spiritual qualities a human being can carry. And qualities do not go unrewarded. Not in the long run. Not in the economy of the spirit. Your patience has been building something. It has been building the capacity to fully receive what is coming. Because some gifts, if they arrive too early, before the recipient is ready, can actually cause harm. Not because the gift is bad. Because the recipient was not yet able to hold it. You are now able to hold it. The patience built the capacity. The fire built the strength. The waiting built the depths. And all of it, every hard day, every long night, every prayer that felt like it went nowhere, all of it was building you into the person who can not only receive this gift but sustain it. That is the fuller picture. Not just that the gift is coming, but that you have been made ready for it in ways that will only become clear after it arrives. You will look back on this season and understand it differently. You will see the mercy in what felt like delay. You will see the preparation in what felt like punishment. You will see the shaping in what felt like suffering. And that seeing will become one of the deepest sources of gratitude in your life. For now, you are in the not yet seeing. And that is okay. You do not have to understand it yet. You only have to trust that it is understandable. That there is a logic to what you have been living through. A sacred logic. A logic that is working in your favor. Even now. Even here. Even today. Trust that. Let yourself trust that. Even if only for the next 5 minutes. Even if you go back to uncertainty after. For right now, in this moment, let yourself trust that what has felt like loss has actually been preparation. And that what is coming is worth every moment of what it cost to become ready for it. Stay with me. Just a little longer. Because I want to talk about tomorrow specifically. Not the day on the calendar. Tomorrow as a concept. Tomorrow as the space just beyond where you are standing. Tomorrow is where the door lives. And the door I am speaking about is not a door to a building. It is a door in the narrative of your life. A threshold. On one side of the threshold is the season you have been living in. The season of waiting, of carrying, of praying into silence, of keeping your faith alive through sheer stubbornness and love. On the other side of the threshold is what comes after. The season where the answer begins to take shape. Where the prayed-for person starts to appear. Where the weight begins to redistribute because there is now someone helping to carry it. Where the light you have been burning alone starts to illuminate something shared. You are at the threshold. You are standing at the door. And tomorrow, in the sacred sense of that word, the door is going to begin to open. Not slam open. Not burst open in a way that startles you. Open gently in the way a morning opens. 1 degree of light at a time. Until you realize the dark is gone. Be present for the opening. Do not be so deep in yesterday's grief that you miss the first light of tomorrow's gift. Do not be so braced for disappointment that you cannot recognize when the thing you were braced against does not come. Be here. Be soft. Be open. Be awake. The door is opening. And I want you to walk through it. Not run. Not sprint toward it in a panic of desperate hopping. Walk. Steadily. Confidently. The way someone walks who knows where they are going. Because you know where you are going now. You are going toward the answered prayer. Toward the person who was being prepared as you were being prepared. Toward the season that will make this one make sense. Walk toward it. With your chin up. With your hands open. With your heart that bruised, beautiful, still beating heart leading the way. If this message has felt like a hand reaching out to you today, please leave a like on this video. Not as a transaction. As a response. As your way of saying, yes, I heard this, and yes, I receive it. And subscribe to God only if this is the kind of voice you want to continue to hear. Because there is more. There is always more to say to a person who is on the edge of their breakthrough. And you are on the edge of yours. I am not done speaking to you. But for now, I want to leave you with this. Tomorrow your door will open to someone you once prayed for. Not as a fortune. Not as a prediction. As a possibility that you get to choose to believe in. Choose it. Every morning when you wake up, choose it again. Choose to believe that the thing you prayed for in the dark is real. That the person you described to God in your most honest moments is being shaped and sent. That the connection you have been longing for is not a fantasy but a future. Choose it, not because choosing it guarantees it, but because choosing it keeps your door open. And open doors are how gifts get in. Keep your door open. Keep your hands open. Keep your heart open. And when you see the light beginning to come through, do not close your eyes. Look, because what is coming is worth seeing. And you, beloved, with your weight and your light and your stubborn, beautiful faith, you are worth finding. The door is opening. Tomorrow it opens a little more. Stay ready. Stay open. Stay here. We are just getting started.